Alright, welcome. What's up, guys? It's me, Dakota Fisherman here. And, of course, today I wanted to go ahead and kind of show you kind of some Warpath gameplay here, but more importantly, I wanted to go ahead and kind of start off by saying that this is going to be a Wednesday thing. And so, basically, what I want to show you guys is some of the late game units. Now, you've probably never seen them, and if you're curious, like, what is Warpath, what is this game about, and why do I care? I'm going to go ahead and just throw it out there. So, you can play this game free to play. You don't really necessarily need to spend any money. The nice thing about this game is it's got a nice game curve to it. Meaning that if you're going to do game units in this game, you're going to go through the campaign. Now, in my world, I'm in Berlin. And if you don't know where Berlin is, that's Chapter 7. I'm almost at Chapter 8. Now, how did I get there? Well, partly through just sitting there grinding, but also just, having to do the daily quests and everything, and basically having to go through and do all the little things. So you'll notice up here on the left side here, you'll get a little task. You're going to get some items and rewards from this from time to time. You've got officer missions, which, in case you didn't know, officer missions are basically kind of like what you use to upgrade your officers, which, if any of you on the channel know what Lord's Mobile is, officers are basically heroes. Okay? And so to kind of get us started, I figured, what I'd do here is, well, obviously, I'm going to sit here and kind of show you. Now, the main thing here is you always want to do more than 2 here, because for these 3 officer units, in order to get that little box, you've got to actually have all of them. Now, what I do is I just determine, okay, do I have more than one of this asset? Okay, cool, then no big deal. And you see how that box lights up, it's gold, means you're going to get it, okay, for that particular reward. If you don't do that, then the success rate, is flimsy, and, well, you might not get it. Like here, not going to get it. Now, it can be avoided depending on what officers you're picking. Now, in your army in particular, like I have the Tiger II, the E75, the Nashorn, the SU-100, and the BN-3112. Now, all of this might sound like a bunch of gibberish to a handful of you, but let me start off by saying that the Tiger II is at a level 100 right now, but to get to this gold 2-star here takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time and effort. Now, if you're wondering, how do you play this game in full screen mode, like I am right now, the trick is that you've got to get something called rotation control. And then when you download that app, you can go up here at the top, swap it to full screen, and you can actually force a full screen mode if you're in Nox. There is a way to do it in BlueStacks, but in case you want to know a quick, easy way to do it on your phone, that's how you do it. Now, primarily, with how the tanks in this game are designed, you've got heavy tanks, super heavy tanks, tank hunters, you have rocket artillery, you have artillery. There's plenty of options. You've even got infantry, light tanks, medium tanks. Now, here's the quick and easy, simple guide to basically what tanks are for what and why you pick one over the other. And it really comes down to this. So, medium tanks and light tanks have speed and mobility, meaning that, they're not slow as fuck. They can travel and traverse the map a lot faster than a light tank would normally. You'd think, okay, well, that must mean, what's the trade-off for speed? Well, obviously it doesn't have a lot of health, doesn't have a lot of firepower, but the nice thing about that is you can pick off your opponent, run away, pick off your opponent, run away. Great for bases, base attacks and stuff like that. If you just want to pick them off, run away, pick them off, run away, because you're never going to really run into an instance where, most of the time, if players do want to go after you, they actually have to use something of similar equivalent in speed. Now, that's where tank hunters and medium tanks kind of come in. They're practical for that purpose, and they're really good for that. But I like just raw firepower. And so for that, I'm actually using the Nashorn, which is, it's pretty decent, strong firepower for the tank hunter's tree, but it's a nice tank to have, and frankly speaking, I just like German tanks, and so it really comes down to that. But one of the things that is nice about these variants is, like the Tiger II, for example, there is nothing past the Tiger II. This is the last tank you'll get in the tree for the heavy tank for that particular Vanguard, as they call it. You'll start off with something that looks a lot like this. And of course, you might be thinking, well, what's the difference and why do I care? Blah, 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 blah. Basically, as you upgrade your tanks, and in order to upgrade them, you have to assemble. Now, assembling, is pretty straightforward. You take 3 copies of the same variant, you hit assemble, and lo and behold, you get a different tier of tank that as you progressively increase it, you're going to get a stronger and stronger tank. Now, obviously, if you're going to be doing anything in Warpath, the main thing with this game is, you've got the industry tree, which is basically your gather, speed. Now, I've already done practically everything in it almost, except for the last couple in the bottom. I've already gotten down the military tree quite a ways, and we're just going to keep pedaling through this, but we'll eventually have the military tree done as well. So, for the most part, like, where I'm at, in case anyone's wondering, is I'm in Kyiv, which is just a little city over in Ukraine. But the cool thing about this, and I'm not physically there, obviously. I mean, when I mean that, it's like literally that's where I am server-wise. Now, again, when you're playing this game in like full screen mode, obviously it's not intended for that, so you're gonna get some visual bugs and stuff like that. That's just kind of the way it is. So it's not representative of what the game's like on your phone, because usually it's played vertically. But the main thing here is that level 6 nodes give you about 1 million or so resources per pull, which is pretty damn powerful. And for everyone that doesn't have it, they're having to spend moolah or wait a stupid amount of time to get the resources to upgrade their buildings and so forth. Now, you might notice that there are things called universal coupons, there's things called components. The main thing with components and all that jazz is basically, let's say I click on this tank here, right? Let's say I want to upgrade it. Well, there's kind of 2 or maybe 3 different ways you can go about doing it. One is upgrades, so there's the actual physical level of the tank or infantry or whatever class it is for that matter. You have the physical upgrade, which requires bullets, or aka these little wonderful munitions, right? And you gotta collect munitions from campaign, or you've got to get them from the black market, or you've got to get them through hunting raven or killing down raven bunkers with your guild. But the other thing is modify. So as you upgrade your tank through assembling, you can actually also get them upgraded through here, and you use components to upgrade, everything from how far their shield and armor is to, how much firepower they're doing and so forth. And as you progressively work your way down, eventually you got to get down here to the bottom. Now, the third place is parts. So there's actually parts that you can craft. You get these parts. Primarily, you get the actual crafting recipe for making them through the campaign, and then you basically put Vanguard with Vanguard, Martyr with Martyr, and Liberty with Liberty. Liberty meaning American tanks with American tanks, Martyr being Soviet, so Soviet with Soviet, and obviously, you get the rest, Vanguard with German. Now, the main thing with all of these classes, right, is that one encounters the other. Like, heavy tanks are great against medium tanks. Medium tanks are great against light tanks. Light tanks are great practically at just being mobile, but they're, practically speaking, if you ever want to know what counters what, generally speaking, it's, for whatever adverse target you're going after, you can actually look this up on the Warpath wiki, which, again, that's just a simple Google search. And I'm not going to, drown you in advice as far as what units do what. But what I can tell you is that primarily a lot of the players that I see in this game, like, see here, this is kind of like one of those bugs that really, you can't really avoid it. It's kind of, it has to pertain with the full screen. But the main thing is so let's say if I was going to be doing a attack on somebody. Now, again, you might be wondering, what is your guild? Can I play with you? Can I play? And yes, of course you can play. Now, if you want to join my guild, it may take you a little bit of time, but what you'll have to be looking for is anti-hate. No, I'm really not going to go any further than that. And yet, for the few of you lucky chumps who happen to know what I'm talking about, well, then cool, but that's probably not safe for YouTube, so we're not going to go any further than that. But Happy New Year to all of you. Now, the main thing with this game is, gold is pretty much like gems. It's the currency that you use to upgrade your stuff, and generally speaking, you have 3 resource types: oil, steel, and of course, military funds. And the VIP level is pretty crucial, so if you want my 2 cents, you always want to make sure you get this upgraded, because the VIP store is pretty damn useful. For a multitude of reasons, but we'll just start off with the obvious one, being that you can get resources, you can get components, and more importantly, you can get those universal coupons, which allow you to get your vehicles and weapons upgraded. which you're going to need to get up the tiers. Now, primarily speaking, you know, as far as like everything else goes, you have to produce materials from the workshop, and this workshop then allows you to get those materials that you use to upgrade your buildings. And as you can see, it's kind of a resource collection, upgrade, rinse, repeat kind of thing. Now, like I said, you know, obviously when you get to late game, it becomes a little bit harder, takes a lot more time. It's a lot more effort in terms of what you're doing, so it's a bit more of a painful process. But that isn't something that you can't do. Of course, you know, these three little tabs up here, you know, this is where basically the shop is. Now, you know, I personally, once you get up a couple levels in VIP, you can get power play and arms deals. Both are perfectly worth it for the value you get in them. They're pretty nice. Now, as far as gifts are concerned, you know, it's like, I see a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll actually start out by getting not fully loaded, but they'll spam arms race and military empire. I don't necessarily agree with this line of thinking, because you're getting these when really, you know, for most people, I actually think it might be more beneficial to actually start thinking about not so much these, but think about your officers, you know, think about, you know, what can you do in terms of research speed and stuff of that nature, because that stuff is really what carries you. Just having a couple of decent tanks and assembled is kind of something you'll get over time. You don't really have to focus on that too much unless you just want to, you know. So to kind of give you an idea, this is what some of these units are like. So let's see if I can give you like an example here. Of course, you know, there's everything from players to so forth, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you what a level 100, you know, Tiger 2 and E75 are like, because I'm sure there are some of you guys out there who probably know what those tanks are, and you're probably thinking, oh god, how OP are they? Are they OP? I don't know. So, can't go to 29, but this is close enough. So we're going to go ahead and attack that. We're going to converge, and so as you can see, the units are all going to come up and around. E75 has got a shit ton of armor, and the Tiger 2s do a shitload of DPS, 220 to 172. Now, granted, I can upgrade my artillery units, but this is going to give you kind of an idea of what it's like. As you can tell, our rocket artillery will absolutely decimate infantry. Infantry are really great at countering a lot of stuff because, you know, you can build fortifications and they can just take a bunch of DPS. The moment they get in front of artillery, though, they're pretty much screwed. For that matter, though, of course, you know, every time you hit anything like this, you know, again, as you can see, this game is intended to be in vertical format, so do excuse the glitches and the little things like that, because this game is not intended to be played in vertical, like, it's supposed to be played in vertical format, so it's only rendering what's in the vertical. But anyway, the main thing here is, you know, it's like here, it's one to argue with me. Come on. Okay, there we go. But the main thing is, right, is with all those units comes a very hefty price, which is, if you continuously upgrade in this game, right, you know, eventually Covert Season Battle Pass will start, but the camp ranks themselves are pretty important. And to start off, I'm going Vanguard. So one of the few benefits of being strictly Vanguard is you actually get bonuses for having Vanguard units. So like here, I'm getting 3 units, and therefore I get an extra 9% on DPS and DPS resistance. So you always want to make sure that when you're starting out, it's not so important, but late game, you're going to want to transition to purely one camp or the other to basically get yourself started. But that is pretty much a gist of Warpath. And I hope that kind of gets you guys at least somewhat familiar with what Warpath is, and more importantly, why you should probably come and play with me. And of course, if you want to, I'm over in Kyiv, so if you want to actually take a look and see what that's like. Again, there are little things like, how do I move my base? It's airlift. It's that little key tab up here at the top left, in case you didn't know. Of course, you can click on search to find your camps and stuff like that, which is really handy. But something else is, so if we click on, let me see here, where is that? You know, it's like up here, it'll tell you it's Kyiv, and of course, you know, you can go up here and click on this to tell your exact coordinates and stuff of that nature. But what was I thinking of? I was kind of thinking more towards, well, like here we can get an air drive real quick, but where to begin? You know, it's like villages in themselves, in case you're wondering what these are. you basically take them over as your alliance, and you just, that's basically what you do. We're just gonna double click those and just kind of get those out of the way. But I don't know. I mean, like, let's see. I want to show you. So the officers in particular, right? One thing real quick that you should probably know, all right, is that each officer represents a certain type of unit, meaning that, like, if you're going to pick this particular hero for generally anything, you're going to see that some of them bonus infantry, some of them bonus tanks, some of them are just for artillery, okay? And you want to make sure that you're using those officers with the right type of units, because otherwise you're not going to get their bonuses. Now, it's not like you necessarily need to, but, again, if you're wanting to make the most out of those units, like, to get this guy, you got to pay for him, okay? So the Guardian of Truth is one of those, he's a tank hero, but you got to pay to get that tank hero, all right? Now, I believe they've also got an update coming up, which is also going to add another officer, and again, this game's still getting developed, so it's going to be kind of cool to see what they add. Of course, you can go up here, you can change your profile name, you can get your commander. Of course, there's rankings. Now, my ranking in particular is probably not very high up there anymore. It used to be pretty high. But if we go to, like, power, okay, as you can see, Hinta Haven be way, 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 way up there at the near top. Of course, we got JTC, but, in current terms of kills, still, we're not really that far behind. If we're just talking individual commanders, I am number 17 on the list at 3.6. So I'm not far from the bottom, but I'm not at the top either. The main thing with any of these, individuals is that most of them are gathering resources 24/7, and they're trying to get as much as they possibly can. And generally, you want to make sure that you're getting as much as you can from gathering, from going out and resource collecting, because, well, that's just the wise thing to do. Because it'll get you up and going a lot sooner the sooner you do that. Now, like here, we're gonna see if I can get this tab to cooperate. Of course, it doesn't help that it wants to do that. God damn it. Okay, there. But, yeah, for the most part, though, that's pretty much Warpath in a nutshell. So, hopefully you guys are somewhat interested in it. Of course, here I've got exactly 10, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what the drops look like. But they're basically cards, and then these give you units in the game. So, like here, I got a Howitzer M2A1, a Bishop. So mostly Liberty tanks there, and then these little 3-stars are all going to go ahead and they're going to go convert straight back. And if you click on your workshop here, which again, this is being a pain in the ass, but you click on disassemble here, and then you can just assemble those level 3s for components. And you just want to make a habit of doing that for both parts and your extra units that you'll get. Because again, this is just kind of the nature of the game. You just turn around and mulch all your extra garbage, and then you can turn around and use that to make actual parts. Of course, you can use unit restoration in case you ever decide that you don't want this unit anymore, and yeah, vice versa. Now, like this unit here, like the BL5 medgun, like if you're wondering what this howitzer is late game, that's actually what the this cannon is that I have here, and I'll show you. So this one here, that's the late game version of it, and of course I can still keep going. It can still be upgraded past where it's at, so that will still continuously upgrade, but there's really no reason to. Let's see here, this is a tank hunter. Let's go ahead and upgrade this real quick. It's gonna give me a Wolverine, so that's a high velocity Wolverine, which then we can upgrade again because I already got a Wolverine, and so now we have an Achilles. Now, again, with a lot of these units, it's kind of the nature of assembly, so it's kind of neat. But for the most part, anyway, that's kind of the gist of what I do. Now, of course, you can go around, attack other players, you can hit bases, you can actually group up with groups of people, and again, provided everybody has their own number of squads and stuff, you'd go around and attack other players. Now, again, just to give you an idea, right, here I'm looking at, like, just this portion, but I'll actually give you an idea of scale. Okay, so this is the whole map, right? And this is just this side of the map, right? Now, of course, there's also the servers, and it goes even further than that. So, like, right now, they've got the world map. I mean, you can go all the way out into South America, You can get into North America. I mean, it goes quite a ways, but again, I'm not anywhere near here. I'm actually way, 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 way over here. So, in case anyone was wondering whereabouts I am, I'm right here at the moment. Now, you do have some people that are like, you know, in Still Live, which is where I started. But, you know, you've got everything from, you know, like, as you can kind of tell, like, it's kind of cool. You know, every one of these places are kind of like a kingdom in a sense, if you're familiar with Lords. But that pretty much gives you a gist. Of course, there are different levels of cities, which then provide different, you know, different items for different, you know, different capitals and stuff. It's kind of cool as far as the routes go and stuff of that nature. But one of the things too is that comes in handy when you're starting out is just click on the resources, and then this will actually tell you approximately where the rare resource supplies are. So like most of the decent resource nodes are going to be in those green or very dark green areas. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing if you like Warpath. And then, well, needless to say, I'll see you guys to the next video.